Let's set up a basic open field experiment. To do that, we'll navigate our way from left to right using these 5 pages at the top: Protocol, Experiment, Tests, Results, and Data. Start by creating a new experiment. This brings us to the Protocol page, which is where we'll customize all the parameters of our experiment. We'll set up the protocol by adding the elements you see listed here, though only the items marked with a red asterisk are required. Start by giving your protocol a name. Next, add a video source to specify which camera shows your apparatus. Or, if you've already recorded videos of your test, choose that option and load only the first video you want to track. For the sake of example, I will just use an example video. Now that we've added a video source, let's add an apparatus to represent our physical apparatus. Next, we need to draw the apparatus map. Start by adding a border that encompasses the arena where the animal will be walking about. Then, calibrate the size of your apparatus using the green ruler and enter the known length. With this being an open field assay, we might be interested in evaluating the animal's time spent in the corners and number of crossings into the center. So, let's add a grid to divide the area into these sections. The next item we're required to set up is animals. Select the type of animal and the animal's color relative to the apparatus. Moving on to zones, let's add a new zone to measure activity in the corners and center of the open field. We'll call this Corners. Then select the areas that constitute the corners. And we'll repeat this with the center zone. We're nearly done setting up our protocol. The final item we need to set up are stages. Stages are simply a way to divide your experiment into phases. For example, in a water maze assay, you might have 2 stages: a training stage in which you train the animals to find the platform, and a probe stage in which you dose the animal and mark the time it takes him to find the platform. In the case of an open field assay used as part of an anxiety battery, you would only test each animal one time, so you'll only have one stage consisting of one trial. And for the sake of demonstration, I'll keep the test duration rather short. That's our protocol complete. It would be wise at this point to save your protocol so you can reuse it as a template for future experiments. Now let's move on to the experiment page. Let's give our experiment a name. Then enter our treatment groups and the number of animals per group. Let's now move on to the tests page to perform our tests. Here on the left, we have our test schedule, containing all of the tests we need to perform. Let's highlight the zones when the animal enters, just as a visual for us. And I'll rewind the video at the test start. Okay, let's start the test. Anymaze is waiting for the researcher to place the animal in the apparatus, and when he removes his hand from the video picture, the test will start automatically. And with some movie editing magic, I'll just fast forward through this part. We can view the zone entries being recorded here in this panel, which is a nice visualization. Okay, test 1 is completed, and Anymaze is ready to perform test 2. To switch to the video for Animal 2, just click the Switch Video button here and select your next file. Let's look at the data for the test we just performed. We can see some of the data, including the test duration, total distance traveled, and average speed. But let's add some other measures. And there you have it. We can return to the test schedule from here. And you can save your experiment using this icon here, or by selecting File, Save As, just as you would in Microsoft Word. Now, that's just the data for one test, but after you've run multiple tests, you might want to view your data collectively, and that's exactly what the results page is for. To show you this, I'll just switch over to our water maze example experiment, which has an entire experiment's worth of tests already performed. Just to briefly explain, this water maze experiment was performed in two parts. There was a training stage in which the animals were trained to find the platform over a series of repeated trials. Then, after an animal successfully located the platform a number of times, he was moved into the treated stage, in which he was dosed with either saline or compound X in one of 3 concentrations. In the treated stage, we measured how long it took each animal to locate the platform, after which the test ended. On the results page, we can view the results of our tests collectively to see if there's any effect of our treatment doses on the animal's ability to find the platform. We have our test duration selected as the measure we wish to view, and our data is grouped by treatment, so that's perfect. Lastly, we only really want to see the data from the treated trial and not from the training trials, so we have our data filtered in this way. Now let's view the report. We can see our 4 treatment groups here, the sample size, average test duration for each group, and the standard deviation within that group. And the last column shows the individual data points, which comprise the mean. It's difficult to appreciate this data in this text format, so let's view this as a graph. This makes it more clear that the 10 mg per kilogram concentration impacted the time it took the animals to find the platform. Let's now see whether this effect has statistical significance. And sure enough, there is a statistically significant effect of the 10 mg per kilogram compound X treatment when compared to the saline group. We can also take a look at the track plots for each test to see that as we scroll down, the compound X concentration increases, and so do the track plot densities. The final of our 5 primary pages is the data page, intended for data export. Each row is a single test and a selection of data for those tests. We can add or remove data from this spreadsheet from here. Just as you would with the results page, you can tick the boxes for the measures you want to include. Going back to the spreadsheet, we can right-click, copy, and paste this data directly into Excel or your program of choice. Or you can save your data as a CSV file or other file format using the Save button. You should now have a general idea of the basic structure of any maze. Thanks for watching.